Joseph Beach, welcome to the Coffee Pod. I'm Miss Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Woman says she had her fun in the streets. No, she literally says this on camera. You're going to check it out here in a second. And she's finally ready to get married. Now, why she released this video for everybody to see, including her potential, maybe not, probably not future husband. I'll be nice. Let me be nice. I don't know why she would do this, but follow me here. The main topic of this actual video is the Epiphany phase. More on that later. Let's get it.
Okay, y'all, tell me if I'm the only one. I turned 30 this year. I know, 30. I turned 30 in December, and I think I am ready to, get married. Get married, start a family, buy a house, travel with somebody that I am in love with. The only thing is, I feel like that is such, a memory now. I feel like in 2024, marriage is never the goal. Kids are not the goal. The family unit is not the goal anymore. I feel like everybody is just hooking up and then that's just it. And no
Not all of us, but you definitely were.
offense to that, because I participated in hookup culture myself in my early 20s, a lot. So, but
A lot, she said. In case you're wondering how much, because you're like, oh, she looks kind of, she said a lot. Now, why she would post this video, I don't understand, but it will get a lot of views.
But now I feel like we're getting older. Why not? You know what I mean? I don't want to be talking to multiple people at 30. I want to settle in and be married, and well, not married, but on my way to marriage and on my way to starting a family.
What's the thought process here? What's the thought process of a woman who spent the majority, if you're watching this and you have the same exact experience, was getting it in your 20s, having your fun, getting your cheeks clapped fast and slow, enjoying every minute and moment of it, keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. That's the one thing that men kind of wish women lied about a little bit more, please. But she's hit that epiphany phase. And she's a bit late to it, but a lot of women get to that place, even though they claim when they're younger that they don't want marriage and they're not thinking about it. Eventually, they do start to look around and think, oh no, I'm getting older. I can't compete with the younger version of myself. And they start to worry. And guys, keep watching because this video is going to get interesting. Let's get a few comments from that post that the woman just made. This comment says the wall is undefeated. Somebody else here says, okay, first off, don't let any man you want to marry see this. Dude responded back and says, LMAO. Somebody else here says, nah, it's too late. Keep working hard. Here's somebody else who says 30 and just now thinking of marriage is kind of crazy. This commenter is absolutely right. Absolutely right. If you care about your children, then you want to make sure that you prepare them for having a family because, again, most of them will want that at some point. Now, they're going to lie and get bombarded with all this tea down their throats and be taught you don't need a man, pick a bear. But eventually, when that epiphany phase hits, they come to their senses. Somebody else here says, call the bear. Somebody else here added, the elders have failed us. Somebody else here says, man, the playbook for life is on the internet. Literally, Chaos told us the wall is undefeated. So one of the things that I found very fascinating within RP spaces, I know a lot of people don't really identify with RP as much because they think it's changed and evolved into things they may not personally value or identify with. I understand. On a personal note, there's nothing that I agree with 100%. But one thing I always thought was interesting was the whole epiphany phase. And you even have women like this chick who I'm about to play who complains about seeing it in her own life and the people around her. Check this out.
I'm not gonna lie, as an African woman in my early 20s that grew up watching YouTube videos and content creators that are also African women in their early 20s. Recently, as the YouTubers I used to watch are now hitting their late 20s, early 30s, it's been so depressing to watch their content shift from whatever they were doing to how to catch a man, need to catch a man, need to get married.
Listen, this is a chick who's describing that phase when women start to look around and realize their biological clock is ticking. They're like, all right, need to get married. I'm looking for a man. It's going to happen. If you're a young guy in your 20s, you're going to see it. If you're a guy in your 30s, you're probably seeing it happen right now. And you guys know my take on this whole thing. Even though most women will go through a version like this, it's not cut and dry, but they'll go through a version like this. Yes, some women will get married when they're younger, some later on in life, but most women will go through this. You just want to make sure when you get a woman who you're interested in, you look at her, how does she come? What condition is she in when she's finally ready to settle down, right? That's the question. Let's keep listening.
Need to get married, need to get married. Why am I not married yet? Pray for me. Pray I find a husband. I need to get married. Marriage. My biological clock is ticking. Marriage. These are the same people, mind you, at the time were saying, oh, there's more to life than marriage, this, that, and the third. Now they're all marriage obsessed. What happened?
They're seeing the older, miserable women. They don't want to be alone. They're wising up. And you might say, well, Chisha, they're probably going to divorce. Fair. Like a good majority of them probably will, but some of them won't. But they're learning from the bitter feminists and saying to themselves, I'm going to at least try to drink some coffee. Just a little bit, right? Just a little bit.
No,
Just a little bit.
what happened?
And so she made that video and said, all these YouTubers I used to watch, I'm so disappointed from her perspective that these strong women all of a sudden want men, they want husbands, and it's happening to her right now. The first comment I saw was a woman who tagged Kelly Stamps. I don't know if you guys remember who Kelly Stamps is. She goes on to say her content is now all my man, my man, my man. Kelly Stamps, for those of you who don't know, is a YouTuber that was really popular some years back. And Kelly Stamps is really the reason I decided to actually make this particular video. I remember seeing an announcement of her quitting YouTube around the time she was 26. I think it was earlier this year or the end of last year, maybe late. Maybe she was like 25, about to turn 26, or she was already 26. And I remember thinking to myself like, oh, it's happening. And you might think, well, Chisha, how do you know that she was doing that because she wanted to settle down and get married? Well, first off, I want you to just contrast her videos 3 years ago and some of them even about a year ago, right? Check out these 3 videos that she released a while back. So the first one there says rich energy at the bottom. It says rich energy, money habits for 2021. Next one says to those single people feeling alone. Another one here says a day at my 150K tech job in New York. And so I remember back then she would talk about making money, and that was the attractive thing. I'm sure it worked well for her algorithm. That was also part of why she did it. And she was seen as a more entrepreneur, boss babe type. Ask anybody who remembers watching Kelly Stamps videos during that time. She was a really popular YouTuber, and she was seen as this single entrepreneur, boss babe. But check this out. There's also another video. This video was titled differently, and in plain English here, it says, no, I don't want a career. I want to be married and making tiramisu. This is an 18-minute rant that she released on this topic. Now, if you're still not convinced, fast forward to her current channel and the type of videos that she's releasing now. Check this out. This is a whole different channel. It says, top video there says, I love gender roles, Jesus, fluffy hair, and Florida air. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't care what anybody says. You should be allowed to change your priorities in life. I believe that a lot of these chicks' decisions to change what they want is genuine. Now, some people may disagree. But there are women who, just because you genuinely now want to get married, doesn't mean that it's going to happen, right? A lot of chicks have a bunch of kids by this time. A lot of chicks are way too damaged for relationships by this time. A lot of chicks, like the other woman, don't even know how to move. Why is she online telling the whole world that she spent a bunch of time in the streets and now is ready to get married? That's somebody who didn't have somebody to guide her and say, hey, don't post that. She might argue with you and say, nah, I'm going to find a man who's going to appreciate me. Go ahead, have fun. Go ahead, have fun. Have fun. It's going to end in tears. So let's check out more of these videos here from Kelly Stamps. These are released like 3 weeks ago, 1 month ago, right? This one says, my boyfriend took me to New York for my birthday. So now she's dating and she keeps her life, romantic life, private. Good for you, Kelly Stamps. I support that for sure. I support anybody who's keeping their relationship off social media. It only seems to hurt it. So this one says Miami vlog, a date at the Ballet, Bamclot, birthday plans. Here we go. Society is regressing, but I stay dressing. So she's talking about society's downfall here. She has more conservative views. I don't want a career. My job is to be feminine, fit, and funny. Kelly Stamps, according to me, is drinking coffee in some of these videos based on the titles. Now, I haven't actually watched them. But in case you don't believe that, here's a video of her talking about her quitting YouTube. Check it out.
You are quitting YouTube.
Bye.
Why?
You know, life is like my Mini Cooper. It breaks down after some years and you got to diagnose what's wrong. And what's wrong with that channel is you blow up and the algorithm recognizes a pattern. I blew up for talking about how to blow up. You never really knew me. They do care about me, but it's in the standpoint of being a resource. And if you're like a former people pleaser like me, you know that gets old. It actually happened recently. There were like 3 handsome guys sitting next to me and they were just minding their business, but one of them seemed like he didn't want anything to do with me. And then basically we're all talking at some point. I mentioned I'm a content creator, so I've moved around a lot. I'm still new here. One of them turns towards me and starts paying all this attention to me, blew up my phone, showed all this interest all of a sudden, and was like, yo, I want to start content one day. I want to be like that. I want to get like you. It just seemed like from that point forward, I was only a resource to him. And I just don't know at that point. Do you actually care about me, or do you only care if I can offer you something?
All right, so there she describes realizing that she's just a resource to most people. This is a real struggle with a lot of content creators. Some people are able to make mindless content that really they don't connect with on a personal level, right? As in it doesn't speak to their values. And then there are people who can't do that. And I think at some point she could probably justify the entrepreneurship stuff, teaching people how to get on YouTube, the single life. But as she got closer to that epiphany phase and realized that she wanted to be a mom and all those things, she wanted what she spoke about online to be in line with her real life. I can relate to that to an extent. I remember somebody, a friend of mine, we met for, I think it was like dinner or something like that. And he starts asking me questions about different topics that I have here on the Coffee Pod. And he's just grilling me and I'm giving him answers. And I realized he's just asking me simple questions and challenging a lot of the values I hold and coming at it from different angles. And eventually he said to me like, okay, so you do believe what you actually say online. And I'm just sitting there like, why would I get online? And there are people that do this, I understand that. But man, I can't do that. I can't do that. I wanted a family eventually. I wanted a wife. My approach to understanding intersexual dynamics and topics about dating came with that personally for me, with that as an end goal in mind. And even if that wasn't my goal in life, there's no way I could sit here, say something, and then not actually believe it in real life. I can't do that. I personally can't, which is why sometimes I say some controversial shit. Like when I talk about cheating, I say, hey, I think it happens, and some couples work through it. And I encourage men to have conversations and women to consider not accepting a cheating husband, but if it's something that happens one time and people don't like hearing this and they're able to work through it, they should work through it, right? What I try not to do is get on here and be completely contradictory. Now, after 3,000 plus videos, I probably have made some contradictions. And if I do in life, hey, I'm not perfect. But I think overall, I try my best to come from a sincere perspective, right? Let's check out another video here of her talking about being conservative as a Black woman. Let's see what she has to say.
There's a lot of women who are afraid of it. I think there's a lot of women who are afraid of admitting that they might have like somewhat conservative views. I'm raised by super old ass Black parents.
Yeah.
Black people in the South are very conservative. Obviously, when you come to LA, we're moderate and chill. But I'm just like, yeah, I like God. I live in Texas for a reason because I like certain things. I'm attracted to a certain type of friendship. I want to be able to pray openly and not be laughed at for it.
Right. Respected.
And you can live here too. It doesn't matter where you live, but I just want people to respect me the way I respect them. It doesn't go both ways ever. I think there's
So there you guys have it. That is what I believe was Kelly Stamps' epiphany phase. Let's check out some of these comments. And these comments here are from the second video, the chick who was mad, right? The feminist chick, probably feminist, who was mad about the women who are deciding to get married and not holding that single and independent flag nice and strong. This commenter just left another creator's name who probably is married and says boring as hell now. So they're mad that these chicks are settled down. This content creator is settled down. I think her name is Chrissy. Somebody else here says pressure from the family. I'm 30 now and I've been feeling it. It increases as you get older. Somebody else here says desperate energy will always keep what one desires far away. Here's somebody else who says, I agree, but you get to a certain age and everyone else is hitting a certain milestone and it's understandable. So you should definitely not be just getting married. And guys, watch out for this. You shouldn't be getting married just because other people are doing it, right? This is the fact that this comment has 304 likes lets me know that there are 304 red flags walking around who are thinking, everybody else is doing it. Let me do it. It's not easy. You have to prepare. And the only thing most of these chicks are ready to do within a marriage is crash out. Somebody else responded back to that chick and says, yeah, I can imagine the pressure from that can be overwhelming, but I don't know. Here's somebody else who says, I see where you're coming from, but I also understand that life comes in seasons, and that's typically around the age women / people get more intentional about settling down, especially if they want kids. Somebody else here says, I was just saying this, like, is it do or die? Here's somebody else who says, as someone who's 29, I regrettably went from more to life than marriage to I need to get married ASAP. You realize that the whole girl boss thing is awful, but it's still not an excuse. Again, you realize that the whole girl boss thing is awful, but it's still not an excuse. I'm probably pronouncing that awful word wrong. Guys, I was in phonics class when I was in 2nd grade because I barely knew how to speak English that well when I first migrated over here to the States. So that happens sometimes. Somebody else here says, so I'm 34, got married at 26, went to 12 weddings. Wow. In 18 months. I will say everyone tends to get engaged and married in waves. So once your circle big wave is over, it's simply not as fun. I was in my last. Okay, so she is right about the waves thing. But that has less to do with everybody getting married. It also has to do with, I don't want to say nothing to do with. I want to say it also has to do with the fact that most people at that age see marriage as something that they could financially invest in. Usually around 28 for women and 31, I think, for men. The average man gets married around like 31 or 30. Let me see. All right, we might have to bring Miss Coffee back because this guy's taking too long to answer. We don't have all day. We don't have all day, bro. Don't make me bring back my girl, brother.
What age does the average man get married? As of recent data, the average age for men to get married in the United States is approximately 30.5 years old. This reflects a trend where individuals are marrying later in life compared to previous decades.
Okay, so 30.5. It's also because they're more settled in a good career. They're more financially stable. But I didn't like the part that she said, when the wave is over, it's simply not as fun. Gentlemen, listen to me. Fun should not be a reason you are deciding or thinking of marriage. No, never. And any woman who's just thinking about it from a fun perspective will ruin you, right? And if you're a man who does value marriage and you're not in Brew Brothers, click the link pinned to the top of the comment section, request to join. Then I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't get how you could just watch video after video and still go in blind. Somebody else here says, so I was just thinking this yesterday, like you accomplished so much and we are worried about men. Can't believe it. It's coming from you too, lady. This chick says LMFAO. This is so real. It's like a flip switches. Yes. And it will switch with you as well. Just wait. It's coming. You're going to be looking around and you might appear on the coffee pot. Listen, as always, I'm curious to know, what do you guys think? Leave your comments down below. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.